Hi, I'm Beth with TB Properties Buys Land. Today we're going to talk about title companies and some of the selection criteria that we use when we're selecting a title company. So we get a lot of people who will email us or call us and they're really concerned about what they call a scam offer letter coming in the mail offering to buy their land. And they're worried about being scammed out of their property, and they want to know how they can avoid falling into that situation. And so what they're thinking of normally is someone's trying to buy their property, and instead of going through a title company, maybe that group that's offering to buy their letter is going to self-close, where they don't use a title company. They offer to give money. They want you as the seller to sign the deed, and they say that they'll get it recorded with the county, and they say that they'll have somebody with a certified check, to give them in exchange for deeding the property to them. But is that really safe? There's some circumstances where people do that, and it's perfectly, they're legit and they do that right and they're honest. But is there a chance for someone to be a fraud in that situation and to scam you out of your property? Absolutely. And for us here at TB Properties Buys Land, that's a really important reason why we use a title company to begin with. We know that it's going to be safer for you. But for us, we also know that it's going to be a more correct way of doing things. The paperwork will be done accurately. They do a much better title search than we're going to do. Because they're professionals, and they do this all the time. So if you're worried about being scammed out of your property and they self-close, it's a legitimate concern. This isn't legal advice, so just make sure that you feel comfortable with the transaction. So that's why we go through a title company. With title, we try to make sure that the title company is that they operate in the same county where your property is located. Most of the time we try to select a title company that's located there, but some title companies will be in a different county, but they cover multiple counties. So that's a really important thing to do. I also try to see how long it's going to take them to close. Some title companies, they have been on the ball. They can close for us in 2 weeks. We've got some where they drag it out. It's 5, 6, 7 weeks just for a cash transaction, and that's crazy. So we do try to check on that. We also, if we know somebody who's worked in that county before, who's used that title company, we'll ask for referrals. So you as a land seller, what do you need to know about title companies? Think about if you've ever bought or sold a house. Most of the time you're working with your realtor, but you go there to the title company and you know that they are a legit third-party intermediary. You know that they're going to prepare the title paperwork. They're going to transfer the deed from you to the buyer, but only after the funds are in the bank and only after you've signed the deed and the buyer has signed the right paperwork and everything's done correctly. So you know it's going to be accurate, but also you're going to get paid. If you have to just wait for a check from that land buyer, you don't know if that's going to come. But with title that the buyer has to send certified funds. So me here at TB Properties, I have to wire funds to the title company's account. They have to receive them. They're legit. Or I have to overnight a check, and it's got to be certified funds from my bank. So they have to actually hit their bank account before they say that the property is funded, the transaction's funded. So once they have my money and once they have your paperwork and my paperwork, then they'll deed that property over to me. Then they will overnight you your check, or they'll wire you your funds, or when you come in to sign in person, they'll give you that check right there. So we know that it's a safer way to do business. So that's why we use a title company. And in my opinion, again, my opinion only, if I were selling my land, I would insist that a title company is used. Now, I also think it's important that if you're using a title, if you're closing through title, I think you need to be able to have the name of that title company, the escrow officer that you're working with, their email or phone number information, so that if you have questions, that you can directly contact them and ask them questions about that. Ask them about when you're going to get paid. Hey, is anything, are we still on time for closing? If you're worried that buyer is stringing you along and instead of closing on time, they're just pushing it for whatever reason or agenda, maybe they don't have the money. Maybe they're trying to find a buyer, before they actually buy your property, or they never intend to buy your property. So if you want to reach out to that title company directly, you should be able to have, the ability to do that. So those are just a few things to think about when you're working with a title company and working on selling your property. I hope that helps. But here at TB Properties Buys Land, we have a real simple purchase agreement where we spell out exactly what we're doing. We say that we're going to cover all the closing costs, and we list every closing cost, and we say that those are ours to pay for. We always list that title company, who that's going to be, in our purchase agreement so that you know who they are, and you can reach out to them directly. We'll also copy you on that email when we send the contract to them. Okay, so, and we pay in cash. We close quickly. Our goal is to close as fast as possible, 2 to 5 weeks, whatever the title company can do. It's kind of a range, but that's kind of on the title company. But anyway, I hope that answers some questions. Feel free to reach out to us. We are buying 10 plus acres of land around the country. And the worst that we can do is offer you a price that you're not happy with. But give us a chance. Send us the name of the county and the state where your property is located, as well as the APN, which is the assessor's parcel number, and we'll get you a quote. Thanks again, and good luck with the sale of your vacant land.